All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our weekly 8 p.m. Eastern Time Facebook Live for Real Women Rock. I hope to see many of you here with me live. If not, I hope that you're watching this on the replay. Let's share this out with someone because this is going to be something we all need to hear. Whether you are a man or a woman, but especially women, we are talking about the workforce tonight. And remember, we cover all things related to what women deal with. And so share this out. I will do my formal introduction in a moment, but really just want to make sure you have shared this out with someone so that they can benefit from this amazing conversation we're about to have. All right. I think I've done the sharing I need to do. And so I'm just going to get started a couple of minutes early because I want to give our guest as much time as possible. And I'll say hello again as we are getting started. Come on in, say hello to us. Let us know that you're here. I would absolutely love to see you in the comments sharing with us. And would love for you to ask questions. Our guests will be on in just a moment. Feel free to ask us questions. Feel free to share comments. We will be asking you questions because this is an interactive live. We don't just want to talk to each other. We would love to have a conversation with you all as well. All right, with 60 seconds in, my name is Trenace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women Rock. And we exist to create safe spaces for women to do personal development work on themselves. And we do that through sister circles. And throughout the pandemic, we've been hosting virtual sister circles. We've always hosted them for our all access members, but we began that for everyone free of charge because we wanted to bring us together as women. And so no matter where you lived across the globe, you've been able to come once a month to experience Real Women Rock. And we want to continue in that vein. We will continue doing virtual sister circles, but we are happy to say that we are getting back to, when we were doing it gradually, we're getting back to meeting in person. And we're going to start that this month, Saturday, July 24th. We're going to meet in person in Prince George's County, Maryland, at Costco Park in Clinton, Maryland. This is free and open to all women, any woman who wants to join us, honestly, no matter where you live, but especially if you're in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. We invite you to join us for our very first in several months, in over a year, in-person Sister Circle of 2021. And we're going to be talking about saying yes to you. And we'll be outdoors. Bring your lawn chair or your blanket, your snacks, and we will be as distant as you're comfortable being, as close as you're comfortable being, but we will be outside at Costco Park. We have one scheduled for August 7th in Hampton Roads, Virginia. So all of our folks in the Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth area, we would love for you to join us there. And then we have one scheduled September 18th in Northern Virginia. We are traveling. Real Women on the Road travels. And so we're looking forward to coming to your area. If you would like to help us become develop a sister circle in your area, you would be called a connector, a Real Women Rock connector. All of the information I just shared with you will be available at realwomenrock.org. Again, realwomenrock.org. We really hope to see you at these sister circles, and we hope to hear from you in your efforts to become a connector and help us get our sister circles to your area. So again, say hello to us. Let us know you're here. I'm Trinace Richardson, and we are about to have an amazing conversation with an amazing woman. You know, we bring you conversations every single Thursday that we have a guest. We bring you a conversation that is a sneak peek into a real conversation with real women. And we have no different tonight. And I'm going to introduce her and then bring her on. Sister Sarita Price is an amazing author, international board certified life and leadership coach. She's an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, and she also, hey there, she also has published a book called Healing Through and From Sarita's Pen. She's been a co-author of an anthology called Tying the Knot. Check it out, between ministry and the marketplace. And she has years of experience in human resources, customer service management, and project management. And she's turned that into a coaching and consulting firm where she provides real substantive coaching to help women, especially, get really developed in professional development, and soft skills is her specialty. So we're going to talk about some amazing things today as it relates to her work and what we as women need to know about being a woman in the workforce in this very different environment. So help me welcome, you all give her some love in the chat, Miss Sarita Price. Hey girl, hey.
Hey, Dr. Shanice, how are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really appreciative that you're here.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
Well, I'm excited to have you. And listen, I gave a whole lot. You have a whole lot in your bio, a whole lot more that I could have shared. I would love for you to just share from your heart about who you are, the work that you do, anything about your personal or professional life that you'd like to share as we move into this conversation about skilling me softly. I love that, child. Listen, I know you got, if you don't have a trademark, you better, because that is amazing. Skilling me softly. Could you just tell us a little bit more about who you are and the work that you do?
So on top of that, I guess my foundation is I am a servant of God. Mm-hmm. I'm a licensed and ordained minister as well. So that's my foundation. Mm-hmm. My passion is not, I do a lot of things, but my passion also is teaching. I'm a college professor at Grand Canyon University, which I love. They're a Christian-based university. Plus, as well, I'm a student, so I'm working on my Doctor of Education there as well. I'm a mom who I love my children. I have 2 adult children. Those are my babies. And as well as the church I attend, I'm one of the associate preachers there. Former director. We actually have an economic empowerment ministry.
Wow.
There's free classes. So I was the director there a couple of years ago, free. Let me just put that again. And most of the people there who facilitate are there in the workforce. They're professionals. So that's why, tying the knot between ministry and the marketplace, that's my passion. That's my foundation. Just me overall. I love people. And just working with especially professional women. And that's where my passion, and really the group is, that I love to work with are millennial and Gen Zs, our future.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome. I love that you are a minister and you work in ministry, but you have recognized the need for the practical and the realistic touch points in helping us grow and develop, not just spiritually, but professionally and personally as well. I love that. I resonate with that as well as a licensed and ordained minister. And really just, you used tying the knot. I love that. And I call call myself a bridge, just between those audiences and those tenets of belief on both sides. I believe that they are connected in a lot of different ways, or should be. So I love that you make those connections. Asking those in our audience who are watching with us to really just answer this question, because our topic of our discussion, Sarita, is really, we've called it Skilling Me Softly, based on the work that you do and the verbiage that you use. But it's so important. I want to have this discussion and base it on what's happening right now in the workplace. And so I'm asking you all who are watching, please participate. Give us your comments. Do you feel fully equipped to do the work that you do, whether it is in ministry, in your community organizations, in the marketplace, whether you are working full-time or part-time, whether you are serving and leading and influencing others, do you feel fully equipped is the question I'm asking you all today. While I ask you, Sarita, I'm just really wondering, what's the feel out here? What are you sensing and seeing in the workplace with women, especially during this pandemic season? Do they have jobs? Are they searching for jobs? Are they frustrated with their jobs? Are they resigning? I've heard this term, the Great Resignation, is happening right now. Could you talk a little bit about what you are seeing and sensing in the workplace right now?
So probably all of the above.
Wow.
If you last year specifically, especially women who are single parents, they had to leave their jobs because they couldn't afford, couldn't find childcare, or if they asked them to come back to work. So and the children are at home on computers at school. So what do?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is, and this pandemic, as far as, has really affected women in the workplace.
Yeah.
A great deal. So yes, that is an issue, as well as another thing that's happening is just not specifically women. If you've seen on the news, certain industries, for example, if you in the restaurant business, waiter, fast food, there's a shortage of employees because, first of all, they're not paid much as it is.
Right.
And and I don't feel like they feel valued.
Right.
And small businesses are having to compete with big corporations because some of the employees are leaving the small businesses and going to the ones who have the skill set are going to larger companies because they can provide them with benefits.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and I've heard some people tell me, what, especially during this pandemic season, as it relates to unemployment, I get more money from unemployment than I ever got from my job. So I'm going back.
And what's happening now, a lot of the governors in many of the states have ended the pandemic unemployment early because of the shortage. They can't, there are so many jobs out there. It's unreal, which I can understand that, but also too, that's why I'm on my soft skill campaign. You have to treat your employees where they want to come back to work.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just say, I so appreciate you, and I love that that's such a natural linkage to the work that you do, because the reason why there is this great resignation and people not rushing back, a part of it anyway, based on what you're sharing and what I'm seeing, is that people are stressed out. They're already stressed from the pandemic. They're already on edge. They've had losses in their families, and they're stressed out. And so when they come to a workplace that doesn't necessarily acknowledge all that is happening in their personal lives and just expect and demand either the same amount of work or even more than before. Because truth be told, if anybody has the luxury of having a job and working from home, it's not as if you're doing less work, because you don't have the commute anymore, and you feel more married to your computer than you ever have. And so all of that, and then we talk about women, and like you mentioned, women having to homeschool and all those things. There's just all of these extra things on top of each other that we really need our employers and leaders to be sensitive to, managers to be sensitive to. And so could you just go down that road and talk about why soft skills are so important in such a season like this, and even what they are, maybe even?
Okay. Yeah, so that was the first thing I was going to talk. Soft skills basically are people skills, right? Mm-hmm. So soft skills, when you think about that, creativity, emotional intelligence, communication, conflict resolution, empathy, and the list goes on and on. They're basically transferable skills. Like, for example, I always give this example in the workplace. Let's just say I'm a great engineer, right? I'm top notch.
Yeah.
So a supervisor role come open, right? First thing they want to do, they want to promote that top notch engineer. But one thing they don't check, how is his people skills? So they move him in the role and he fails because he goes from having tasks to managing people, right?
Ooh, that's good.
So the attitudes, the personalities, everybody, and many times we get that confused. So people skills are those, soft skills are those transferable skills.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Before you get into a deeper depth, I love the way you describe it, and I so agree with you how important they are. And we can see this, for example, those, anybody who has kids during this pandemic time has had to become a teacher in some way, shape, or form. And we've begun, I used to be a high school educator, and still, as you are a college professor. And so we know that everyone who has the knowledge is not necessarily a teacher. who doesn't have the skill set to be an effective teacher, even if they can do the actual work, the content of the material. And so it's the same way in the workplace. Just because you can do the work involved in the job does not necessarily mean you're equipped to be a manager or a supervisor or a teacher of people. And because that's a whole nother set of skills that you need to master and develop. And it is developable, right? It is.
Exactly.
It is that you can develop. So can you talk about maybe how you develop those skills? Like, what if you have been told that you're not a people person, if you have been told that, if there has been a revolt. I know some of this happens sometimes. Somebody gets, as you just described, a new managerial position, and everybody under them goes above them to be like, this is not working for us. Like, give us somebody else. How would you suggest that person is helped?
Well, I'm gonna give you in two industries, but first thing first, you need to be teachable, coachable, and trainable.
Ooh, that's good. Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not teachable, coachable, and trainable, I hate to say this, you need to think about changing your career. I'm one of those coaches that's really straight up and honest. That's not your lane, but if it is, whether you're in a small organization or a large organization, you have to seek your own professional and personal development.
Yeah.
If you have a supervisor that, get these complaints or whatever. So, take professional development courses, hire a coach. One of the things that's shifting in the industry now is a lot of organizations, they're tired of training as usual.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually seeking outside consultants and coaches like me and many other, you understand that, to come in to bring in a different perspective, because it's not about numbers all the time. It's about people.
Yeah.
And an organization can only be as great as its leader.
Yeah.
Many times you got this trouble employee, you want to send him to HR training. Well, sometimes it's not the employee, it starts at the top. And that toxicity, it flows down.
Let me interrupt. Yeah, this is good, because oftentimes you hear an employee who is being critiqued or coached because of performance issues, and you will hear them say, I did not get the support that I needed from my supervisor, from my manager. I was dumped into this. Like, I wasn't given the supplies, the materials, the resources, the knowledge base. And so, you're critiquing me now, but I hear you saying, oftentimes there's a larger looming issue that needs to be considered. And I want you to address this for a moment before we go some other places, because this is a little bit of an aside, but I love what Jessica said. She said that your description was really great about soft skills. She said there's also another way that I've seen regularly in the Fed government space. They promote people that don't have any skills and expect others to train them. And so, that I think that's a lot of what you're saying right now. That's still a supervisor issue. It's just over the person that's gotten the job who doesn't have the skills. There's somebody that hired them, right? And so that's an issue for them, not equipping the people that are in there. What are your thoughts about that?
Listen, Jessica, that's her name. I used to work in government. Okay. As a matter of fact, I did a contract work with local government. I was in training and development.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, it happens all the time. You just, and like I said, I'm just going to do some real talk here. A lot of times it may be the good old boys situation.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hire somebody to come in because they're my friend, they're not qualified, and then the person who's already within that particular department has to train that person for a job that they should be doing. So yes, it happens a lot, because I've worked in the public as well as the private sector.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then we were talking about just, these employees held accountable for their supervisors not supporting them. And Jessica totally agreed with that as well, and had just had that conversation. I really appreciate you sharing that, because it's a real issue that we face. And so I'm still asking you all, whether you're here live or on the replay, do you feel like you have the skills that you need to be equipped to do what you're doing in the marketplace, in ministry, in the community, wherever you work, wherever you serve? Do you feel like you have what you need? And Sarita, I'm thinking about the fact that you mentioned these unconventional ways that we are getting to the development of these skills. And one of those ways, which may seem unconventional to some, but we are all used to hearing the verbiage coaches now. And in the workplace, we've heard them called mentors, and we've seen the conventional training where there are videos and modules and those kinds of things. But to have some one-on-one development or small group development, I know that you have a program called Soft Skills Matter. Could you just talk about that and what you help women and anyone else accomplish?
Sure. So Soft Skills Matters is, and I named that because, like I said earlier, many times we're so focused on the bottom line, where small business, we don't think about the skills that are needed, because customer service is another soft skill. For example, I'll use this example. If you have a business, small business or big corporation, your customer service is what can make or break your organization, right?
Say it again.
If you are, no matter what type of organization, if you're small business or large business, effective, because actually I developed a course called Effective Customer Service Practice, and it's very detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what is missing. That is what, can make or break or a company. So Soft Skills Matter is a program that I put together, and really the vision is really to help when I won't say women in general,
Yeah.
um, be equipped to live and lead with confidence and boldness, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not just, this is my program is professional and personal
Yeah.
development, because I'm a strong advocate to believe if you get your personal life
Mm-hmm.
in order, your professional life will flow much easier. Because
Yeah.
I've seen too many times where I've had, being in HR, especially one position I was in employee relations, where employees are having issues at work
Yeah.
with their behavior and their work, their productivity, because they got some stuff going on at home. They don't
Yeah.
know how to handle it, or they may be even, bullying is a thing at work now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they got all these things going on. I never will forget. I had this when I was in HR. This particular client, employee,
Mm-hmm.
she was just nasty. I
Mm.
mean, didn't nobody really like her, and she was just, nobody wanted to deal with her, and and I didn't, how people will treat you when you like that, and they'll talk about you. So, I just kind of pulled her aside, and she said, "I'm fine. There's nothing wrong." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm here if you want to talk."
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, she came in my office. She just boohoo and crying. She was being abused at home.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So you never
You
know,
never know.
Dr. Denise, what's going on with
Yeah.
your employees, even when you have a small business.
Yeah.
That's why I said there's a huge connection between personal development and
Yeah.
your professional development.
So
So that's what soft skills are. I connect the two.
yeah.
And
That's
that's why, yeah. And I connect the two, and we work on your being,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
sometimes we
not
can get
just
to
your
the
doing. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's the connectivity, and that's what I do for women.
Yeah, that's so good, and I love that you make that connection. I do a lot of that similar work and connection. We're kindred spirits in that way because I really do believe that the personal development and the professional development need to be integrated because we're an integrated being. We don't
Exactly.
we don't sit our personal lives and self to the side when we go to work. We are who we are, and for those of us who have tried to really just be a totally different person at work than we are, that's exhausting.
It is.
And so to really just be whole, be an integrated whole being in both spaces allows us to develop and the overall person. So we need to address it in our development programs. So I love that you do that. I would love for you. I told you this time flies by, right? So
Oh
we
my
are
gosh.
literally, yes, we are almost at the 30-minute mark. And so I would love for you to share any words of advice that you have that you would give to leaders, employees, wherever you want to go with your last words in this season, as well as any materials, any resources, anything that you have that you want to make us aware of and where we might be able to find you.
Okay. So probably the most important thing I want to say is treat your employees. I'll say small business or large, treat your employees like they matter.
Mm-hmm.
Treat your employees like they're important.
Mm.
Because if you treat them like they matter, they will.
Woo.
They'll make a difference in
Wow.
your organization.
Yeah.
Be compassionate, communicate. That's a lot of times where leaders don't communicate with their employees.
Mm.
Be empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Empathetic with them. I understand it's the bottom line, but I promise you, I've seen this so many times in research I've conducted, even just um, get to know your employees. I'm not saying you have to share, go over to each other's houses, but whatever like that, but
Right.
get to know them,
Yeah.
make them feel like they're important,
Yeah.
communicate with them. And this, if this pandemic hadn't taught us anything else,
Yeah.
Should teach us that people matter. Your employees matter.
Yeah.
And there will be, if you do, I promise you, there will become loyal employees.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's so good.
productivity will go out the roof.
Yeah. And I still want you to share your resources, but you just made a point that to me is so powerful because in this season where, some businesses have not been able to thrive. And so maybe they can't pay what they would normally pay, or they just, naturally don't offer a lot of money. The one thing that is of greater value, because you cannot be paid well, but if you are treated so well at an organization that you feel valued and appreciated and rewarded in other ways and recognized, that might even matter more than how much you are paid or a promotion or a bonus.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yes.
that's good. That's good.
So as far as resources, I've, over the course of years, I've developed over 14 different courses. Yeah. So I'm actually in the process of working with someone to have online courses, and I offer webinars. So you can actually go on my, I have a Facebook page.
Okay.
It's FSP Enterprise.
Okay.
Coaching and Consultant. But you can catch me. LinkedIn is my baby. That's where I reside most of the time. And you can find me on LinkedIn under Sarita Price. And
FSP.
Yeah, FSP Enterprise Coaching and Consulting. Got it. And LinkedIn, I also have a LinkedIn business page, same name, as well as my personal, my personal page on LinkedIn. But all else fail, from Sarita's Pen, that's how you find me on Instagram. I have a link tree from Sarita's Pen. Mm-hmm. And I'll just continue to post a couple of these up here. And you said under IG, it's just Sarita Price, correct? Under IG is from Sarita's Pen as well. Okay, from Sarita's Pen. Okay. Yeah. Got it. This has been so good. Let me tell you why, because oftentimes we will focus on certain parts. We'll talk about self-care until the wheels fall off, and we'll talk about empowerment in different ways. But it is so important to talk about these 9-to-5s that we're working, and and how it matters how we are treated in them, and it matters if we are leaders how we treat the people that serve in our organizations. And so I'm just so grateful that you have come and shared your expertise with us in this area. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. Like I said, this is. I was ecstatic to come talk about this because it's not talked about a lot, and sometimes I feel like what I do is important, very important, but people just don't quite get it. But I think they're getting it now. Yeah. The Great Resignation is bringing it about. Thank you so much, Sarita. You all, this has been yet another amazing live chat for Real Women Rock, because we rock. And so thank you for joining us live or in the replay. Share this with someone who needs to be encouraged, either because they are looking for a job or they're working a job and they are an employee or an employer, and they're just feeling a little overwhelmed by the people pressure, by either the pressures of being an employee or the pressure of being an employer and needing the skills necessary to better navigate that position, whichever one they hold. And reach out to Sarita. The information that is in the chat that has been posted, this is somewhere you can go to get those skills enhanced. And we are bringing you those resources so that you can really deal with some real issues. This has been our sneak peek into a real conversation with real women. Please don't forget to check us out at realwomenrock.com.
realwomenrock.org. Again, realwomenrock.org, where you can find information about our July 24th in-person outdoor sister circle, as well as we will be posting about August 7th. We're going to be in Hampton Roads. And then on September 18th, we're going to be in Northern Virginia. And if you want to help us get a sister circle to your area, you can become a connector. Go to realwomenrock.org and click on the Become a Connector. Help us find and set up a sister circle in your area. We would absolutely love to service your community. Our goal, our ultimate goal, is to make sure that every woman has a safe space and a circle of sisters, no matter where she lives in the world. And we want your help to do that. Thank you again, Sarita. You all have an amazing evening. Take care.